Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Scrapped. My name is Linda Day, and today we are going to be focusing on the workshop kit that is the Everyday You and Me. Now, there were several different things that came out with this line, and the workshop kit is no longer available, but the DSP is still available. And so you could pretty much do the same thing that I'm going to show you. The name of the DSP is Everyday Happiness. So if you look that up on the Stampin' Up website, that's how you'll find it. But I usually like to take these kits. They come with, if you haven't bought one of these, they come with all the things you need to make 3 different layouts. And as you can see here, there are 3 different layouts. I really like making these layouts. However, I find sometimes that they don't have enough pictures on them for me. So I usually alter them a little bit so that I can have the amount of photos I need. So that's what I'm going to show you. It's pretty much it's a Stampin' Up layout, but I altered it just a bit so that it would fit what my need is. And to begin with, we're going to start with the Pretty Peacock cardstock. Now this is our new 2-tone cardstock. You can see here, this is the darker and the lighter. I want to use the lighter side. So I'm going to turn it over so that I have both of them sitting right there, okay? And then the next thing we're going to do now, this piece that I'm about to show you, this one is not in the regular DSPs, because one of the great things about the workshop kits is you get extra DSP that is not in the normal DSP packet. So that's what this is one of the bonus pieces that you get. So I'm going to go, I think I'm out of, hold one second, I'm going to have to switch out my Snell because I didn't pay attention to the fact that it was gone. Okay, so yeah, like I was saying, one of the benefits of the workshop kit is you do get extra bonus pages that are not normally in your DSP kit. So there we go. This will work much better now. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just begin by adding a little bit of Stampin' Seal to the back of this. Now this paper I cut to be 11.5 by 11.5 so that it creates a little bit of a frame. And like I said, I do follow the cutting guide that Stampin' Up gives us for the most part. Like I said, sometimes I do alter things just a little bit. And this one I'm going to put right there. Okay, and then the next piece I'm going to take and add on this side. Okay, so when I have a situation where you have a connection of 2 different pieces of paper, I always like to lay something down. Now really quickly, before I do that though, I do want to show you something. So this piece of paper, I was able to use up the whole thing. I love when you can use a whole piece of paper because then it means you don't have it leftovers. And basically these 2 pieces came out of that as well. Okay, but I'm using all of these pieces except for 1/2 inch strip. So this one's going to go over here in just a second, but I like to always take something, and usually I like it to be a stripe. I think it just helps with the connection. Like it helps your eye feel better about what is happening here. And I just realized I didn't cut this piece. I have everything else cut exactly right except for this. Okay, so I'm going to take and lay this down. So like usually I like to do a stripe if you have it in the paper, or sometimes one of my favorite ways to break up this is to do ribbon. I actually really like adding ribbon to my layouts because I find that it adds a little bit of texture, and I think it just gives something else for your eye to look at. So, all right, we're going to do that, and then over here we're going to add this piece to the layout. Okay, so remember last week I showed you how I use my ruler, so I'm going to use my ruler again to line it up like this so that I can take it and just go right to the edge. Okay, I forgot to, you guys, I did terrible. I thought I had everything trimmed, but I forgot to trim this as well. So I'm gonna quickly trim it and then I will be good to go. You think you're all prepared for something and then you go live and you realize, nope, you're not. Okay, that will work better. So let's try this again. We'll go 1 1/4 inches from the bottom here. Just lay this down. Okay, that's much better. Much better. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna do, and I'll start to tell you when I kind of deviate from what Stampin' Up did on theirs. So I have this piece and it needs to be, I'll move this for a second so I can do this. It needs to be 3/4 of an inch from the side. And let's see, there's 3/4 of an inch right there and right there. Okay, so we'll lay that down and put this back. And then our next thing that we have is these. Now this is kind of where I strayed from what they did because I wanted to have more pictures on my layout. Okay, this is a 1/2 inch from the edge and 3 inches up. So there's 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then just a little bit. Now, something I want to point out when you're doing scrapbooking, the nice idea is try to use things on both sides because it just makes the whole thing feel more complete. But also pay attention to the fact that this has a direction on it. So whatever direction I did over here is the direction I needed to do over here so that it is cohesive together. Okay, so then the next thing after you kind of get your paper layers down is I'm going to put where I want my photos. Now, normally, most of the time when I scrapbook, I actually have photos ready to go, but in this case, I don't. So I'm just going to lay down. So in the workshop kit, you get these photo placeholders, and I actually just trimmed these down to the size that I want, and I'm using them like a mat. Because I like to have a piece of white between my photo and my DSP because it helps your eyes to rest somewhere and it gives your eyes a break from all the busyness going on. So I just trimmed this down to what I wanted it to be. And then I didn't have 4x4 placeholders, so I just made my own out of cardstock. Actually, sometimes I like to do this. I like to lay them out so you kind of have an idea where you need to put them to make sure everything kind of looks even. It's the tricky part. It's making sure things are straight and even. All right, so quickly get all these laid down. Later, when I do find the perfect photos for this, I do like to make scrapbook pages sometimes without my photos, just because sometimes when I do find the perfect photos, I can quickly just pull this out of my binder and quickly get that page put together. Alrighty. Okay, so there's that. So our photos are kind of in place, ready to go. Now comes the fun part, which is embellishing. So in the workshop kit, you get a sticker sheet and you get a thing of dies that are ready to go. So we're gonna use both of those today. I'm gonna start with this piece of the sticker sheet. And take my ruler out again. And lay it here so I can get this on straight. Stickers make it so easy to add fun stuff to your page with not much effort. All right, I'm gonna have to trim this off just a little bit here. So let's keep my scissors. And come on, there we go. Okay, so just trim that down. Next, what else are we gonna do on here with the stickers? The only other thing is I do have this. Okay, so this, I wanna show you this. This comes from here, so it's like a big rectangle. It's a die cut, but I didn't need the whole thing, so I cut it in half. I used half of it on a different layout. And I'm gonna use the rest of it here and just put it on the side over here, like this. So don't feel like you can't alter the die cuts that are giving you, because you can. And then the next thing we're gonna do is, we've got some die cuts that we need to use. So I've got this one, these are little scallop circles, and I'm gonna use all three of these. And one thing I like to do to kind of help make things stand out a little more is I have some pretty peacock paper here, or excuse me, ink. And I'm gonna take a sponge dauber and I'm just gonna go around. This is one of my friend's favorite techniques, is distressing. She distresses everything. But I do like the look of distressing as well. So this one's gonna go over here, and then do a little more. Okay, so is that how easy that is? Just kind of add a little dimension to your paper. Okay, I'm actually gonna switch these and do that one there and this one here. So this is gonna go flat on my paper like that. And this one, I can put that one on in a minute. And this one is gonna go just right over here, kind of halfway on like that. Okay. And then what I did was, okay, so we have the sticker sheet here. Right? So I took and removed 2 stickers, and I'm going to show you how I do this with the third one. So I'm going to take and use this sticker as well. So sometimes I love doing stickers as stickers because it makes it so easy. But also, sometimes I want dimension with my sticker. So I take my sticker and I'm going to take, this is my embossing buddy and my little embossing tray. And I'm just going to take my embossing buddy and just kind of pat it all over my sticker, because then it removes the stickiness. And it makes it so I can put dimensionals on the back of this without the sticky getting in the way. There are other ways you can do that as well. You could use baby powder. You could also, heard of people just like taking it and sticking it on your jeans, you know, sticking on your jeans and pulling it off, and it kind of makes the back so it's not as sticky anymore. I prefer the embossing buddy method the best. So I'm going to take a dimensional, put it in the center there, and then I'm going to put this in the center of my thing, and then the other 2 that I'm going to use, I already have these ones pre-done so that it could go a little bit quicker. Okay, that one goes over here like this. Things to remember. And then this one is going to go up here. Now this one, I needed to figure out kind of where I wanted to place this. So I think before I take those backs off the dimensional, I'm gonna glue this one down, kind of right about there. Okay, I'll take the backs off. All right, and put that right about there. Okay, so that's all we're going to use on the sticker sheet. And then we do have, the next thing is, okay, in this workshop kit, they had this, it's like very thin cardboard cut out into different shapes. And so I could pull out the ones I want. So that's what I did, is I took and pulled them out. And then as you can see, I put dimensionals on the back, or excuse me, glue dots. I feel that glue dots are one of the best ways to keep these down. So I'm going to take and just pull off the backings. These are all those leftover glue dots. I don't know if you find this, but with Paper Pumpkin, I have all these leftover glue dots all the time. So I love when I can use them up. So, okay, so this one I'm just going to kind of sit right there, push down on that. And this one goes over here, this one goes over here, and this one goes up here. So you could also, you could use liquid glue as well, but I find liquid glue to be very messy and I don't love liquid glue. So anyway, and then this one has a little rose that I'm going to stick right there in the center of that. Okay. That may need a little more help. I'll fix that in a minute. Okay. Down here, we got to put these ones on really quickly. Okay, here we go. We're going to tuck that one in like that. And take this one. Now sometimes you can see like this dimensional is hanging off the edge. So when I have that as the case, because something's really thin, I just kind of take and fold over the dimensional. So it kind of rolls it up a little bit. That way I can still use it and it does what I need to. The thing I like about these Paper Pumpkin ones is they are a little bit smaller than the normal glue dots that we have. So, okay, so that's that. And then we're going to use one more die cut from our die cut piece. There's this little tag that says Our Happy Place. And remember how I said I like to add ribbon? So, and this, I'm going to add some linen thread instead. So I'm going to cut 2 links that are about 8 inches long, okay? All right, like that. Then I'm going to take and wrap it around through this little side, or this little loop. I'm going to take and tie it like I'm tying a bow. Down here on the side. And sometimes when I'm using like baker's twine or linen thread, I do it double because then it just shows up a little bit better on your project as opposed to a single strand. Okay, so play with that and get my bow where I want it. Okay, and then I'm going to just trim my edges here so they're kind of even. Probably need to trim that one just a little bit. Okay, so then I do need to put some dimensionals on the back of this one. So we'll do that, one on each 4 corners. I am not shy with my dimensionals because I like dimension and I don't want it to look flimsy on one side and not the other, and so I try to make my dimensionals as even as I can. And then this is going to kind of go over here on the side of this like that. Okay, so here this is. Now, one of the other things that I do think is important is journaling. I didn't really leave a journaling spot on this page, but I could do something like, I could just do 3 pictures and use one of these as a journaling spot, or I could add my journaling here later. So there are lots of different things I could do, but this is my finished scrapbook sheet that I altered. This page is more altered than this one, but I really like these kits and I encourage you to try them. We have lots of different other kits. So go ahead and give it a try and see how you like it. And I want to thank you for watching today. This has been a fun thing for me to get back into scrapbooking a little bit. I love scrapbooking. And remember to like the video and subscribe to my channel. And I will be linking all the other videos for this month from Scrapped down in the description below. Thanks and have a great day.